life.
I know, but our Atul has got disconnected.
Okay. Hello and welcome. You're watching the Policy Times Unleashing India Global Web Summit series. This is a series we bring the best minds of India from across the country and from the international community and talk on the developmental issues and that can take the country forward. So we are terming it as uh, Unleashing India Web Summit series for national reincarnation because COVID has divided the world into two phases. One is pre-COVID and the other is post-COVID. The post-COVID life is certainly going to be very different. What I'm really happy today is that we have two eminent personalities and minds of this country who are pioneers in the global business strategies domain that we will talk today. And not only they have connections in promoting business, but they also have multi-dimensional business involvement and activities. So I think Mr. Atul Saxena will join us soon. He just got disconnected. I want to welcome Colonel N.P. Singh, sir, ex-Indian Army, paratrooper, an M.Tech from IIT Mumbai, and now associated with many international business community organizations to promote global FDI and funding. The chairman of the show is Dr. P. Shekhar. He's a chairman of Global Smart Cities Panel, MTGF, and author of more than 80 books on different issues connecting with nation building, national growth. And he's also the modern architect of the concept called secure governance. So with this, I want to request just to give a small background. So almost all companies, all MNC, multinational companies that operate in this world, they want to have a presence in India. And the objective of their presence is the 90% cases, it is India is one of the biggest markets for the world. So you talk about any company, they want to have a business presence in India. Now, India, on the other hand, also has presence in all countries possible. I think almost in all countries. So that is a kind of linkage that becomes a mutual win-win situation for both India as well as the international community. India is the only country in the world which any country in the world can positively view as partner. And I often say this in different platforms. I think it is the only country in the world which has sacrificed lands to its even poorest and smallest neighbors, which no country in the world has ever done. So Indians are very trustworthy in the international platform. So even if there are a lot of negatives which are spread in India or across the world on many other terms, political, regional, religious, but the very positive brand India image and the hardworking and intelligent Indians image that is there, it is across the globe. And if we can encash that, I think it's a multi-trillion dollar asset that we have built over the course of years. With this, I want to hand over to Dr. P. Shekhar to kindly take this session forward.
Thank you, Akram. Uh, we started off on a very casual basis about 4 months back, Unleashing India. It has caught on in an extremely powerful and good way. It's almost reaching a 40th session, and each with very, very eminent and good speakers. And the idea behind it, this show, this event, is to bring the comfort to the public at large and to the experts that there are things which will go forward. We used to have even my series of books are on national growth, and we are renaming it as national reincarnation because we have to go far above growth today, reincarnate, because COVID, whatever it is, has brought us to a knees, and that knees portion has to go back. And today we have got two eminent people who are experts in international business. And of course, one of them, Colonel N.P. Singh, is from a military background. He is a very senior person from Army. And Army has sponsored him for M.Tech, and he is on a very high technology fields. and he has done unique work there. And after almost 30 glorious years, where eventful years, he has mm, then graduated to doing something, putting things into practice on a on a non-defense basis. That is getting funds for the country, getting good international collaborations for the country, and for getting good technologies for the country. And also in return, exporting good things which are done in India to the global world. And he's doing human service in his personal capacity and through his various associate companies. Now, before I hand over to him, I would just make a small presentation, that is to give a preview of what is it we are. So this is enhanced role for global business strategies for national reincarnation. Okay. So now let us understand, when we are doing it, we should understand what is India. Now, India is almost 206 countries put together. When we talk of global business, we should know that we ourselves, out of 270 global countries, we are ourselves 206 countries put together. And we are present globally in all the places. So goodwill of Indians throughout the world is immense. And as a country, we have got our own problems and our own things which are absolutely for the world to follow. Problem because we had our own 800 years of rule, and we had so many multi-religion, multi-culture, multi-language, so on and so forth. At the same time, we are united. We are the most welcome people any part of the world. Like we always joke that if a cricket or a Indian movie is released any part in the world, it'll just be houseful. So that particular aspect has to be taken in our growth. That's what our experts will talk today. COVID has brought us to the knees, brought the world to the knees, and India especially is suffering because of that. But there's something which is very, very difficult to understand, that COVID as such has hurt very little in terms of percentage. By any standard, it is less than 1%. By any type of calculation, in some of the calculation, it is 0.002. But for some reason, it has brought the economy down, it has brought the people down, it has brought the moral down, it has brought the confidence down, so many things. So it has to be that is why we call this reincarnation. Okay. So for this, we have to be very, very strategic. So I will not go too deep into all the slides. Now, strategy will play a very, very big role. And strategy is of various dimension, because this is like a World War III. So in world wars are always followed by, things, very unconventional things are going to come into real life. Like World War I was industrial revolution, World War II was information technology revolution, World War III is going to give something. People like us, there's no point we predicting something, and it is going to have its own impact for the growth of the world. But we have to have a good business and industry going. And that's where experts like our two experts today will play a very big role. And as I again repeat, strategy is going to be this thing. And strategy has got various meanings, which I'm sure in indirect way, they will not go into conventional description. Indirectly, they will inform how and what way they are doing what they are doing and what is the advice they have got. Now, again, COVID has brought every country, including the famous China, which are credited to have brought this to the knees. And so in that suffering, everybody has to be together, and we need not make it as pro any country or anti any country. And we should see that we grow. We grow sectorially, we grow as people, we grow with giving good employment. And this is something where I may like to spend half a minute. The challenge for the global business is that we have to have international business on. We cannot be sitting in isolation. The laws and regulations have to be properly understood, properly interpreted, and properly taken up. Then accounting practices and others have to be taken up. And again, communication has to be very good. Even in our own shows, Till now, at least 8 of the shows have got foreign people from other countries participating. And so we have to have communication of a different grade. Now, in all this thing, there's something which is called secured governance. Secured governance, smart and secured governance is the one which is going to play a very big role, because in this we will have a self-sustained economy. Economy will be self-sustained, and so that there, for everything funds will not be required. But value creation of the technology is going to give fund back in the system. That's what is a crude way of describing secured governance. And sectorial growth is fully guaranteed in secured governance. And coming to our two speakers, as I said, one is Colonel N.P. Singh, second is Atul Kumar Saxena. Both have got an extremely powerful background. And N.P. Singh, I would request him to talk initially, because Atul Kumar Saxena has got somewhere disconnected halfway when he was talking. So he has to get reconnected. So I would request a slight change in our this thing, where Colonel N.P. Singh will talk initially. And he has been a person of huge experience in various this thing. He had a very, very successful career. And for a military man to do his IIT MTech is something highly creditable. And on a high technology fields, on a field like real high technology, means whatever electronics and communications and all. He's a communication expert. And he is using the maturity gained in this, in his present avatar, so to say, last almost 14 years, in global platform, bringing technology, funding, helping Indian companies to be global, and so on and so forth. So with that, let me welcome Colonel N.P. Singh, and then we will have Colonel, and I would request Colonel N.P. Singh to talk a little about himself, his career, how he has risen to the rank in the defense forces, and after that, what are the way he has done, and then what is the present COVID situation, and second half is fully in terms of how the national growth will take place in his domain of expertise. Colonel N.P. Singh. You have to unmute. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akram and Dr. Sekhar. Thanks for your very kind words which you have spoken. I think the journey has been very wonderful. And you also told me that I should take this platform as an inspiration for the youth as far as defense forces are concerned, because besides serving your country, the defense forces also make your career. And that's what youth has to understand, because over till the time Mr. Modi brought into fore the importance of army, when he spoke about the surgical strike, the nation came to know what army is, what difficult terrain they fight, what are their roles, how they risk their life. And so I want to tell the youth also and the audience, whosoever is here, that army as a career is very brilliant, patriotic, and very fulfilling career. I'll just give you a little background because you asked me to touch that, because that may be inspiration to our youngsters. Way back in 1971, I was into my pre-engineering when I appeared for Indian Military Academy, got selected from the Kolhapur, and went to Indian Military Academy for two years of training. Till that time, I remember that I was very mediocre in my studies. But during the training, as it dawned on me that to be a successful commander, to be a successful leading force on the battleground, you have to study, you have to improve yourself, you have to improve your image, you have to learn the skill of management, because we must understand on the battleground, whether it was Kargil or where it is China border today, on your one word of command, the whole battalion of 1,000 people will rush like in Kargil, knowing fully well that they have to climb up that peak And where enemy has got an advantage to pick and choose to fire at you, your fire will not reach him. Yet, with a war cry, they went and they conquered. After even after suffering a very the aspect of casualty, which was very well known. Which profession, Dr. Sekhar, would give you that much of motivation that on the word of command of an officer, the whole battalion will charge towards an objective, knowing fully well they might not come back. That is what is motivation, that is what is the leadership, and that is what is the patriotism which is there in each and every Jawan of our, not only Indian Army, in all the combined defense forces, whether it is Navy or Air Force. So these things are taught in academy, and over the perspective of your career, you keep on learning it by exhibiting so many things, which I'll just touch base to give you a little insight into this. So um, after I joined Army, at that time when I was commissioned in 73, it was in Corps of Signals, which is a technology arm of Indian Army, and also as akin to infantry, because we also go along with the soldier to provide live communication on the battlefield in the face of the enemy. So, so then what happened? So, Dr. Sekhar, uh, at that time, in the first year of my service, I realized I had always desired to be a commando. I always had a desire to be a paratrooper. So I opted for paratrooper training from pure Corps of Signals veteran into the paratrooper, which is a very specialized and a very elite force of the Indian Army. So I opted for it and went through the training, got selected into paratrooper cadre of Corps of Signals. We have a para-signal company in the parachute brigade at Agra, where I had a tenure of 2.5 years with them. Then I had to go proceed on different assignment. I had to move to our engineering college, where they carried out 3 years training to make you a telecom engineer. So I passed out with honors after 3 years of training. And thereafter, I was posted to one of the regiment, which was a trial regiment for promoting um, mobile combat communication for the field forces. And in that regiment, while I was there, because of my performance, because I passed out with honors and best all-round student from my engineering college of military college of military engineering. So I was selected to undergo training to IIT Bombay for my MTech. Now I want to bring it. I could have never gone to IIT. Perhaps that could have been. I would have never achieved it because of my mediocre educational career at that instant of time. But here, I could get an opportunity to spend 2 years in IIT Bombay to become a computer science MTech. The moment I finished MTech, I was posted in a regiment which was dealing with mobile communication, developing mobile communication. To at that time there was no mobile communication outside, Dr. Sheikh, and the viewer. There was no mobile communication. We worked with ITI and Bharat Electronics in MEG Center in Bangalore to develop this mobile communication, and we fielded this mobile communication somewhere around 1992. At that time, it was very imminent that we might have to go for a strike. So on the western border, we were deployed, and I could put these systems on ground. Got awarded for it on the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Card. So that gives you immense satisfaction. Then I had a chance to be second in command of the Army Development Software Development Center, where we were developing software for the Indian Army. So after doing all this, Dr. Shekhar, on the western border, Then I was posted in JNK for 2 years, where I was in Kupwara. You're well aware what Kupwara is and how fierce that location is. I had a wonderful chance to operationally see Afghanis, to see my adversary on the other side. And that was a wonderful operational tenure we had. And I could very well correlate myself with what is happening there on the border today, whether it is on the western border, whether it is on the China side. And let me tell you, the life is very tough. But it is an honor to serve the country and with the medals. And that gives you motivation day by day, every time to go through the same. So in short, I put in 33 years of service. And in 2006, I retired and started my second journey, which we'll talk later. So what I want to say, Army made me MTech from IIT Bombay. Army made me be telecommunication from College of Military Engineering and the Military College of Engineering Services. I think that is what I owe to the Army. And that made me a complete man, Dr. Sekhar.
Yeah, that is extremely so nice for, of course, a proud mediocre person. I'm sure his mediocre level itself will be high for most of the students, because a mediocre person can never be a good telecom engineer, can never be near MTech. So only the question of level, which is his own personal level of his achievement, is what is I would say. So now, thank God, thank God. Welcome back, Atul. So we slightly reverse the role. NP Singh wanted to actually speak after you. He has already spoken the first portion. So now I would first introduce you, of course. So Atul Kumar, let me introduce, has been an eminent person in terms of his versatile international relationship. I do not know which country he has not visited, which country he has not had, a relationship. And he has been to various countries, he has been to various places, and he's one of those. He also heads coincidentally an organization which is called Indian Imports Organization, International Imports. That is because, yes, India needs a high quality imports. And speciality of Atul is that whatever he does for the growth of the country. He doesn't do everything just to make a little quick buck here and there. And relationship is another of his specialty. And he gets into the country's relationship on a extremely good level. And he's somehow more into South Asia, which of course I would like him to clarify about his personal. So I would request him first to talk a few minutes about himself, his personal growth and glory, and then about his present level of working, especially from a global trade and global technology and global funding, or whatever he feels are the right way. And second, the final version will be, of course, what we call as what comfort we as people who are doing global business have got to give confidence to the public at large and to ourselves that yes, we are going to reincarnate us and reincarnate the country. Atulji. Well, I think he has got some communication problem.
We got disconnected, sir.
Will he come back? I think some switch of his is putting him off.
Yeah.
Last time also same thing happened. He touched something and then it went off.
So we can go ahead with Colonel NP Singh, sir.
I think what you should do, Akram,
Yeah.
Akram, you can come on.
I'll take a couple of minutes, sir, in the meantime.
Yeah. So what we will do, Colonelji, because some technical hitch, I think, because last time also he was trying to say something and it got clicked off.
Exactly.
Either he's putting a wrong switch off or it is some technical problem. But he was connected and he could talk, so we could hear also, but something is missing. So what we'll do, some portion of the second portion we'll do, real second portion we'll do a little later. So during this COVID times, what I would request you to enter, and which people would be very happy to know, is that from a military background to a funding background is quite a dramatically different role. Okay, so that is something which is, of course, military can give maturity to anybody. So military maturity is a military maturity. So with that thing, what is it that you are doing now, and how is it that you are enjoying what you are doing? These two things, if you can clarify in the meantime.
I think, Dr. Shekhar, that the transition from military to the business background on the strategic level, by that FDI or the funding part, I think that should be understood, because unless one is exposed to those business environment, the various segments, one doesn't get the total perspective of the funding process or the aspect. So uh, while Mr. Atul is coming back, I will touch on that transition part, which will thereafter I'll home on to
The
this
second
part. In
portion.
the meantime, in case he comes in, then he continues, then at the end I'll bring in this. So 2006, when I retired, I had a chance to, uh, because I wanted to be in Bombay, because after doing MTech, and your alma mater is there, so you want to be in that place. And as you know, Bombay being a financial capital, the opportunities are immense. Army toward the end also give you 15 days to 1 month type of um, uh, pre-retirement training to get, including to work in, to get trained in IIMs as a capsule. Uh, this is a great service. Let me tell you, I have so much regards, so much of pride to be an army man, because I use the one word, it makes you a complete man.
Correct.
The learning, the career development, then leadership, all these aspects are given by the army. So after that, I got absorbed in an infrastructure company as a president of a company in Bombay. When I came in, I had a successive, um, proud privilege of heading various diverse companies, leading from the real estate in Bangalore, back to infrastructure company in Bombay, group of 5 companies I was heading at once as a vice president and president, finance company, and security facility services. So during this course, I had the taste of almost, then also I raised a technology company, ex-Israel, to bring in technology to India. I had a proud privilege of knowing Elbit system, Rafael, and Israeli aerospace, because we keep on hearing Rafael in other way aircraft. But I'm talking of uh, uh, Israeli company. So after this diverse thing, I went to US. In the meantime, I was in touch with a number of people who wanted. So once I came back 2 years back, of course, when I say US, I didn't transition to US. It was coming and going, coming, because my son is in US, in New Jersey, heading the technology company from India. A number of transition for him. HCL to Tech Mahindra to Accenture, Genpact, back to Tech Mahindra, which is a global leading, one of the retail segment for them. So God has been very kind uh, to touch. So when I came back now today, presently, besides your being with you in foundation, and besides, uh, I'm part of an infrastructure company where we have the land bank, and we give those land bank to developer to develop. Then I'm also part of Indo-Latin American Chamber of Commerce, where I'm the global head, and the whole, I look after the bilateral trade for the buyer and sellers from both the countries. And also we are incident on Panama as a country, very much connected with the Minister of Investment, External Affairs, because the Latin Chamber is duly recognized by the Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Commerce, MSME, and we are doing a great job to take companies to Panama. And Panama, as you know, is a wonderful country. Panama Canal, as we are well aware, is a gateway to Europe, it's a gateway to Africa, and also gateway to US. So we are incident on the 20 Caribbean countries, including Panama, Costa Rica, Peru, etc. and also we are incident on 15 African countries. So it was just yesterday, just to mention, we launched a trade platform, very unique in India, where we are bringing in buyers and sellers from India across to 35 countries, 20 Caribbean and 15 African countries. We launched this portal yesterday. You can very well imagine when a buyer is there, he gets an opportunity only to talk to one or two potential buyer. Here we are entire diverse 35 countries buyers for the sellers in India are exposed. Thirdly, uh, I'm associated with a non-profit organization from France, where the role is to bring FDI world over, but their main focus is in India, which I'll explain later after Mr. Atul will take on. And I'm the global head for this organization also. My role is to facilitate FDI into uh, the countries who have got three criteria. They have rating B plus and above. They should not be a terrorist country. They should not be in US sanctions, because we have about 350 plus FDIs who are incident on us in terms of financial institutions, venture capitalists, technology companies, private offices from UK and US. So uh, this is what presently, and also I'm part of the trust fund from abroad, where we are into financing a project with total collateral securities in a different, on a labor plus percentage, which is also need of the hour. So these are the diverse sections where I'm working in. So Dr. Sekhar, I think now if Mr. Atul is comfortable, he can take it on, then I'll wrap it up at the end.
We'll do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Atul, I think I just introduced you anyway. So now it is your mic with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes these are technology challenges.
Yeah, not basically technical challenges, very simple thing. The electricity went off.
Okay,
And
okay.
with it, the whole system had collapsed, the inverter and all that.
Okay.
So keeping that besides, so first of all, I thank Doctor also and Policy Times to invite me for this talk on international relations, especially trade relations after post-COVID. And as we are well aware that the domestic businesses have, gone down, and because of various reasons.
Maybe initially a little about yourself, Atulji.
Okay.
Your personal glory and personal.
I thought I
little.
Okay. As
we are not short of time. Please go ahead.
Okay. As Doctor had introduced me, basically I started my career working, and I was very lucky to work in India for the Birla Group, and I was posted to Vietnam way back in 1980, 85. And that time, Vietnam had just been liberated from the Americans in 1975. And as we are all aware that Vietnamese fought with the Americans for 20 odd years, it was a long time. And when I went, the country was totally war ravaged, and we were able to do a lot of work with the Indian line of credit there in Vietnam. After that, I worked in Singapore for Thakral Group, which is one of the biggest NRIs in that part of the world. Thakral Group is into various businesses, industry, hotels. And after that, 92, I left and started my own business. So we are in business for 25 years. I also happen to be the president from 2015 of the Indian Importers Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The chamber has a global presence. We have very strong footprints in SAARC, because that's one of our most focused area where we work, because we think that if we have good trade relations with our neighbors, which will lead to better relations on the diplomatic and political side also. So we have to be interdependent in SAARC, where countries are doing businesses between each other, and could be cross businesses. Like sitting in India, we are doing some businesses between Bangladesh and Bhutan, Bangladesh and Nepal. So that's what we specialize. Trade between two countries sitting in another country. We call it three country trade. You could call it multinational trade. So the chamber's main focus, as I told you, is SARC, and then we look towards ASEAN and then the GCC. So we are Asia centric. But as time passed, the chamber has today, representation in 62 countries across the world, and we have our own chapters like IICC Bangladesh, IICC Italy, IICC US, Russia, Vietnam, etc., which have a local membership, local bylaws, local leadership. Everything is local. They are just like the Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce, and IICC Bangladesh just stands with them. So they have we have a grassroots level working in these countries, and the chamber provides a lot of networking opportunities for businessmen, for investors, for technology transfer, service, etc. So in brief, this is what I would like to.
Yeah, please go ahead. No, the second question. You're choosing.
Yeah.
So
Yes, doctor. So please advise me what exactly.
No, how the COVID and post-COVID, and we are considering this also the post-COVID, because COVID we are not expecting it to have a day when COVID won't be there. So how do we, an organization like you and person like you, see the world, and how is it that we are going to see the thing coming back to reincarnation?
Yes, so as I just mentioned earlier, that businesses have gone down within the lockdown period and then unlock period, etc. And the effects of any economy, which suddenly stops, and then to recover takes time. It's not an overnight job, because and especially where the economies are big, so they will take longer time to turn around. India, is a very big economy. I would like to talk on India basically. So obviously, it will take more time to come back to normal. Businesses wise, companies will have to rejig their working. They'll have to find technology which is more cost effective. They'll have to reduce their expenses. They'll have to find new markets and try to be more innovative in their working, because post COVID will be a period of a lot of challenges, and with challenges will come that the necessary changes have to be made. And as per my recent study, we are seeing the recovery rate is coming into the Indian economy. You find the freight movement is there now. You find the transport sector now is coming back to normal. You find the microfinancing going up, and you also find that banking has coming back to normal step by step. So recovery is taking place, but rejigging of companies will have to be done. Companies will have to be more competitive. They'll have to go in for smart solutions. And there is have been a growth also we see within the COVID period and post-COVID of new industries coming up. Now these industries, as we are all aware, are on masks and sanitizing machines, sanitizers, gloves. Like today also, there's a huge shortage of gloves globally. Companies in Malaysia and Vietnam are totally tied up for next 1 year for supplying gloves, and there are no gloves in the market. So new businesses are coming in. There are a lot of Indian companies I know of which are trying to get technology for making these disposable gloves in India. So no new businesses also are growing up. Today we have become self-sufficient in masks of various kinds. So this has happened because of a lot of people have set up plants today. Today, the DGFT has removed the ban on export of masks because of the production in India has now become surplus. So we are now exporting them to various countries. New businesses, what I mean to say, is the new word today in the business. Sanitizing machines, which will be needed, and various other medical field. As you know, the pharma industry is trying to go in for a breakthrough for making the vaccine or certain medicines which are required post COVID, because COVID is something which we'll have to stay with. It's not like chicken flu or swine flu or SARS which came in and went. This is something which we'll have to adapt. And so for that we'll have to be prepared in various ways, in preventions and cures also. So a lot of pharmaceutical companies are investing money into research, as we all are aware of, and a lot of medicines which go in for the treatment of COVID, like simple thing like vitamin C today. A lot of companies which are not making vitamin C today, they are making vitamin C. A lot of companies which are not making zinc, they are making zinc today. Similarly, chloroquine means we were largest producer of this raw material, but we were not formulating. So people are now, the pharmaceutical companies are buying the raw material from IPCA, from Cadila, and making tablets out of it. So this all is, going into the industrial growth basically, because once you new activities start, so new employment opportunities, things like that come. So post-COVID, what I think is a time for change, and a lot of things are changing. As I just mentioned about pharma and also medical devices and disposables, medical disposables. And besides that, if we see closely, a lot of food processing companies have suddenly come into the market, and also the industry which was once upon a time not so well developed. They are now overbooked with orders, because a lot of people have started eating home. They are not going out, so that option is also now coming in. So all this new industry which is coming in is on one side, and recovery is on the other side. So recovery is also taking place, but yes, it will not be very soon. Recovery will take some more time. It would take about, I think, closing of this financial year means another, let's say, 4 months, where recovery will, after that, the actual recovery. Now we are still in the process of coming to a point where recovery will start. So that's something which I would like to share. Anything else, Doctor, if you would like?
So what we'll do, we'll have a few minutes with Colonel Singh, and then second, we slightly planned whether there could be more of a collaborative business, because you are representing so many countries. Maybe that after Colonel Singh completes his, yeah, because you were saying something interesting that, through, I mean, you are bringing 35 countries together on a trade platform, and yeah, please go ahead. You'd unmute. You'd unmute. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Sikar, it was wonderful to hear Atul with a vast experience on the chambers and his exposure worldwide. I think that's nice to hear. The you gave me a lead to speak on this Chamber of Commerce initiative on behest of Panama ambassador in India yesterday in the evening around 4 o'clock. We have developed this portal where 20 Caribbean countries, particularly Peru, Costa Rica, Panama, which are the foothold to US, as you're well aware, because Panama happens to be in midst of Africa, Europe, and foothold to US. That is where the government being very close to the chamber, we are working closely with the government. In fact, we're also looking at the finance for the government of Panama as a part of my non-profit organization from France. I've sent them the letter of interest, and we're developing on that. I told you I'm the global head for that NPO. So that is also one of my role. And being a global head for Indo-Latin American Chamber of Commerce, we launched this platform yesterday where the entire sellers from India on the different product you can think of, and we have the buyers across these 35 countries, 15 African countries and 20 Caribbean countries, which will be dealing one-to-one. um, facilitating them, because otherwise it takes a lot of time to find buyers across the world. You'll appreciate that. So this is the first unique thing what we have created yesterday, and which have been accepted very widely by those MSMEs and the manufacturers and the sellers which were there on the webinar yesterday. So uh, let me talk of the Indian scenario. Now coming back to the post-COVID scenario or the pandemic which is there, I'm somehow, it is my personal view that I'm very appreciative of the step which Indian government has taken right from the day one when they declared the lockdown. Otherwise, I think one shudders to think what could have happened. Today, in the world scenario, very rightly brought out Dr. Shekhar that 206 countries put together is only India. And if you look at it, when we look at the active cases, when you look at the recovered cases, when we look at the death rate, which is less than 1.5%, and with so much of population of 140 million, yet the figures are, to my mind, are not very, very much alarming. The various state governments, I would compliment them, the step they are taking, Mr. Narendra Modi and his cabinet, the way they have handled, I'm very happy with that, let me tell you. And testimony to these facts are the world at large is now looking at India with a lot of hope. Very rightly brought out by Mr. Atul, the chloroquine, hydrochloroquine manufacturing, the formulation was in India. The whole world is looking at that. We supplied so much outside. The lot of vaccines which are being built up with Oxford, as you're well aware, is also collaboration with India. Besides that, I'm well aware that a lot of other Ayurvedic formulation, a lot of other medicines are also coming up. So when we say post-COVID, the first quarter of 2021, I'm very hopeful the vaccines will come in the world scenario itself. And India will be a big contributor because of the fair size of pharmaceutical companies and the manufacturing units. So the recovery will start from there as anticipated by Mr. Atul also. Now, because of unique position of India, the way they contained this pandemic, the step which government has taken, world is looking very hopefully at India. Post Chinese situation, when most of the world has decided to lift out their companies from there and looking for some other safe haven, we all know India today stands very, very tall as far as those companies shifting their bases, manufacturing bases to India. The government of India policy is also to give them a welcome, a warm welcome, red carpet for those companies to come in is a very big initiative, which has the policy which have been enunciated by all over our Prime Minister and the ministers. You are well aware of that. In that scenario, not only the companies are coming in India, the most of the FDIs are also looking very, very hopefully towards India. That is where my organization, the Paris-based organization, we are in talk with a couple of state governments in India to bring this FDI, because we have a very optimistic views of all these FDI, venture capitalists, financial institutions, technologies companies, metros, affordable housing, the construction company, the road development companies, who are very keen to come in India, because here they can see a great future and they know it is a stable government which is doing a very wonderful impetus to the finance, secured finance. Of course, there are challenges, Dr. Shekhar and Mr. Akram, that in terms of most of these finances, when they come, they look at sovereign guarantee, or they look at other sort of guarantees, how to secure their financing. We have various tools besides sovereign guarantee, because there is a lot of limitation on that. We have a various tools of development bonds, which can be even being issued by the state governments. There are predominantly FDI want to come in on the model of PPP. We have boot model, we have BOOT, we have BOT, we have various type of PPP project where they are very much focused on. And that is what we are exploring with couple of state government. As a part of me, I'm being the global head for that organization. And I have my our president and vice president in France, and we have president here, and my uh, director uh, uh, business development also, who are in India, and we are focusing, and plus director international affairs. So all these part of, we are very much incident on the Indian government. They are also listening to us, and as the perspective to bring FDI, the nation becomes strong. We are well aware of so many other modules which we have discussed together. So I see a very bright future as far as Indian funding scenario is concerned, Dr. Shekhar. And uh, I think we'll be able to contribute in a very big manner to make India self-reliant, to create the job opportunities in India, because all these infrastructure projects, whether it is smart city, affordable housing, the waste management, the solar, the power, the maritime, smart cities, uh, would change the shape of India in future to come. And uh, I think that's what my perception is.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's a very good thing. And before I conclude, Mr. Atul, see, I mean, don't you think we should look at a lot of joint working? Because today, especially, of course, we should not talk too much of China. China is anyway self-destruction entity. Okay, it had political pricing. It had so many things which are not really good from international, ethics. But they're again a country that people are simple and good. I don't think that people are anything, and they have also right to live and progress. But instead of saying that because of China is this thing people are coming, India should grow by itself, because China had political pricing. So many things which are not, but India didn't have political pricing. India always said survival of the fittest. You cry, you this thing, but give something with the other person needs. So that takes time. So now the time has come. Now the time is ripe for India to grow. In that growth, Atul, since you have got so much of good relations with so many countries, a joint working of manufacturing, joint working of production, then best of both the countries will come, so that the pricing structure, the technological this thing, the customization, everything will take opening huge new markets. It will to have its own things of when somebody like Colonel NP Singh can get money, and money can be used in a productive way, by which there's a 100% guarantee. Nobody will then ask for any sovereign guarantee. People know that there is so much of market for the particular products. Atulji, if you can elaborate and make your comment.
See, the chambers has many. Our chamber has many USPs, and one of them is we always talk of three I's. First is imports, then comes the investment, and then comes the industry. Now, what we mean by this, we say that anybody who will sell in the market will go in for FDI, that is investment, and that FDI will lead to industry, and industry will lead to technology upgradation, employment. Now let's take the actual case of a company like Samsung, Hyundai, Lotte, LG. Means I'm just talking of four Korean companies who are very successful in India. I'm not talking about Japanese, but I'm just talking so they also did the same. They first sold their product into the market. Means there was an import market which was created. Once they found out that yes, our products are acceptable, affordable, and are available, then they went in for investment, that is FDI. If I don't sell, why should I invest? First of all, our Make in India program, I don't want to go in detail, has not been very successful till now. The reason is, unless I sell, then only I will put an investment to make that product in India. I cannot come in, bring some special technology and put up a investment here of $100 million and think of selling it. So first we have to go in for imports. That means anybody who sells will invest. Today, Webley Scott, one of the famous companies making revolvers, everybody knows about it. It's 1879 company. So today they're investing because I don't want to say myself also owns one of their products, which has come from my father and my grandfather, because it's a known product in India. So they have been selling for so many years. People take a special import license to buy it, and there are importers who import and sell it to gun shops, etc. So they are putting a factory in UP. Coming to the second point, today's paper I was reading that the Restaurant Association of Delhi has met the Chief Minister. They were saying to sell a sandwich, they require 14 licenses. Today's paper. You can read Hindustan Time, Times of India, Economic Time. All three have this article. 14 licenses to sell one sandwich or one cup of coffee. Now this red tapeism, when it will finish, we don't know. I know the chamber is approached by so many companies from globally who wants to come in India. When we talk to them and tell them these are the formalities required, etc., A, B, C, D. So most of them don't come back to us. So unless and until he's selling a large product like Wrigley's chewing gum, they are selling in lakhs of rupees or crores, then they will take the risk and come into the market. But anybody who's doing small business and wants to bring in FDI, I can tell you with the red tape, I just give you an example, 14 licenses to just run a restaurant in Delhi. Forget about excise laws, forget about the bar license. So, so this is the state of affairs in India for putting up an industry. You can imagine how many hurdles will be there for anybody to do it, and how much time. And see, these are all professional companies, so they don't have so much time that they can. We as Indians have on a DA that we are happy to wait. Waiting is in our DA. We can wait for hours, for days, for months, because we are in that. We have been taught like that. Could be that we have to wait for something. But Americans or French or Germans, when they come to put up a plant or put in FDI, they would not wait. So red tapeism also is big issue which has to be sorted out. And as I said, the FDI will only come in when that company or a group is already selling into the country, and then they are not coming to explore further. They come in for investment, for exploitation, not for exploration, that they'll put up industry and then go back. You can see the case of Harvey Davidson. They were not selling so much, but they took a chance to put up a factory in India, thought the market will expand. It didn't expand, so they have now closed up and gone. If they were selling 100,000 bikes a year, then and then invested in the market, it would have been a good venture. So this is what I have seen with my experience of so many years. Unless you don't sell, you will not invest. And for investment, you will have to make things, consumer friendly or investment friendly, which is not. Till now, it's not. There might be states like Gujarat, etc., who have been very, customer investor friendly, but other places I've seen that it's very difficult, especially when the central governments get involved in some clearances. It becomes time consuming. So this is my experience which I've seen. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So to conclude, yes, there are good investment possibilities. There are huge interest in coming to India, using India as a base. At the same time, like Atul points out, there has to be certain opening up of the mindset, especially of the decision makers. Especially, we cannot be again the old, license Raj. That cannot work at all. So I'm sure, people are taking action. Yes, we hear that almost 2,000 rules have been removed, which are all historical and which are all this thing. But maybe there are 2,000 more to be removed, which I'm sure this government will do. And Policy Times also is making its own efforts to point this out, and many things which are done. Yes, one thing good about is when we say something, something is getting heard. May not be 100%. We can immediately see a change in the mindset, change in the setup. But in a miles to go system, maybe we have gone few sub miles, and we are not too far away. But yes, it has to happen. If especially after this pandemic has hit, then we would be the best country in the world. For that to happen, we are just not far away. But if we still stick to our old rules and tie, Britishers, when they ruled India, they didn't want India to grow. So they tied all the legs together. So you will be one, you will have to take sanction from somebody, even two people talking will have to make a noting and then get the noting signed. These are all to ensure that we run at the slowest speed. I tie four legs, that means nobody, and the fast runner also has to go by the lowest speed. So we need to untie. We need to say, if you are Indian, I trust you, please go ahead. Okay. And rules should take care. So in any case, rules are, rules. I know there are people who are so clever that they, while making the, because rule maker itself comes as a consultant to break the rules. I mean, those are all truths of the matter, which we will not discuss anyway. So the crux of it is that, yes, we have to grow. While growing, we need to make some changes, make some modifications in the way the, the implementers, this thing. Then, with multiple countries coming together with a common objective, we are also today, we were one software superpower, which I only named it India in way back in late 80s. Today, we are all, even in pharma field, we are like a superpower. Everybody has to depend on India. It was so interesting for, a president of USA to give a threat that you please sell it to us. It was an interesting threat. So it was something we bought. Why should a president come and give a threat to India? I do not know. It's a commercial thing. It says it went. India did go and everybody thanked us. So, and like that, many things are there which will go. And I'm sure people like Atul, people like our Colonel Singh, they would play a great role. And even because of this itself, both of them play an role and make India into a good place to grow. It'll be something good. Akram can probably close the.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shekhar. Wonderful session. I cannot say more about Atul sir. He has been an exceptional personality and minds to promote business and bring money in India, bring businesses in India. Vietnam is like, I don't know what is the right word to explain to him. And he has been doing to promote India-Vietnam relations and many other countries also. I want to say, so Atul, 2 points I liked. Colonel Singh also mentioned, we need to bring a lot of technology. There has to be a lot of technology transfer because technology is the future. There's no discussion on that. So whatever policy, flexibility, dynamism, openness needed, just we need technology to change this country. Along with that, we need massive amount of cybersecurity. Couple of days back, our own Gmail was hacked. Couple of months back, our own website was hacked. So the moment there is something becoming popular, lot of hacking and all this happening, and we don't realize the importance of cybersecurity. But the moment we lose our assets, these all are our digital assets. The moment we lose it, we realize how precious this was. It is like our building is destroyed by flood, and suddenly someone sitting in Ukraine, Russia, China, destroying your account and all. So we need massive amount of awareness with technology and cybersecurity. The other thing that Atul sir, I like this, and I think for the first time I realized this, we need to promote imports, because only when companies see India as a market, company tests India as market in terms of selling their products and make some money in India, they will invest more. So I think import should not be seen as a negative, phenomena in the society. I think our policymakers, Atul sir is very well connected, more than us. So with the policymakers, I think we need to, play around or create awareness with the import sensitivity, because without import, this is not possible. China, if you see, there is a similar amount of import that the amount of export they do to other countries, because that is bound to happen. So somewhere we need to also, but we need to diversify and strategically position it from where should we import and from where should we export. The couple of things that we need to is the innovation and dynamism are the rules now. Businesses will survive which are innovative and dynamic. Flexibility, work from home, a lot of these things are going to play a major role in this. I will not repeat much because you've already shared all. IT-based infrastructure we talked. So with this, viewers, I want to say, Atul sir asked me what is your focus, and we have been only introspecting and still researching. to see what should Policy Times be and what should Policy Times do, because we are 3 years young organization. And I realized that our only mission is, since last 70 years, India has all the potential to be one of the best countries in the world. But I don't know how many 70 years needed to really become what India has the potential of or deserves to be. So, in our lifetime, I want to see India as a real prosperous nation that we always go and visit, like America, Canada, or Australia. I don't know which one is the ideal country, but somewhere down the line, we have to be what we deserve to be. To achieve that, we need a massive amount of groundwork, which Atul sir already set the platform, red tapeism and all of these areas we have to work, because business, does not need help from people like us. Business, if someone has 1 million, $100 million in pocket, he knows where to put that money and where to do it. What we have to give the confidence, security, and a very nice environment to explore India. So I think with this, so Policy Times will do and continue working as long as we make India one of the best countries in the world. So thank you. Keep watching the Policy Times. If you like our discussion, do subscribe to our channel.